What's the rest of the year holding for you? Quite a bit of touring, I imagine.
Yeah, a lot of touring. This tour kicks off in August, and then some festivals, and then the next big thing is I want to do quite an extensive Capital Cities solo tour to really focus on what we're talking about, the loop pedal and that aspect of the performance, which is just I've really kind of gotten into, and it adds a different life to the song. So that'll be the next focus, I think.
You talk about you got really creatively energized after the last tour. Will you write? Do you ever write on the road, or do you stick it out when you get back home?
No, I always write on the road. I never stop writing really. So on the road, I find it's a pretty good opportunity usually because there's some downtime and you're always sound checking. So sound check's often a good time to work through some little things that you're working on, and also you're all on tour. You're often feeling emotionally fraught because you're excited about playing a show, or you're coming down from playing a show, or you're missing home, or you're just stressed and tired, or whatever, or incredibly excited and kind of hyper. And so I find that those things kind of flow into writing much better than if I'm just hanging out at home and in domestic life. But then I find that I catalog all these ideas, and then I need to sit down and refine those ideas. And for that process, I need to be kind of at home. So it's luckily it's worked out that it kind of works in both regards.
What are your favourite things about being on the road?
Well, I've heard it called enforced leisure time, which is true. Like when you're on the road, you do have quite a lot of downtime, and there's always you're hanging out with your mates. There's always a pretty ample supply of booze as well, which lubricates the fun, I guess. And there's often a chance to go out and check out new cafes, and if I have a chance, I'll go and check out a gallery where I am. So it's kind of it's fun, I mean, there's no real downside to touring apart from being away from home, which is that's a big deal for me. But if you can find the balance, it's a very good balance.
Does that get easier as time goes on, or a bit harder?
I think it gets easier in one sense. Like when it's I've been touring pretty hard for 8 years, and my fan base is wonderful and supportive, and is big enough that I can sort of balance it better. So it'll be most of August and the beginning of September for this tour, but then I'll have a long break before tours again. So that's a pretty healthy balance, and I feel very very lucky to have found that.
Before we start talking on camera, we were talking about the days when we used to jam in punk bands and all that. Do you ever get friends into the shed and kind of let out those energies?
I haven't yet, but I definitely plan to. It's it's something I've always dreamed about, having my man cave and being able to invite my old muso friends who've all moved on from music and like lawyers and environmental people and stuff like that, to come and relive the glory days and bust out some punk jams.
Well, hope that happens for you one day.
Maybe you hope. Maybe it wouldn't be such a good thing.
Might be some crazy EP that comes out of it.
Well, to be honest, I mean, that's the beauty of having a studio at home. You could, over the course of one drunken weekend, you could come up with a pretty cool concept album, I reckon. It's a misconception that, artists that play a certain genre of music are going to be, that's the only thing that they'll be playing or listening to. I think I probably listen to more kind of, more heavy stuff than the stuff that I actually play.
What are you listening to at the moment?
Well, I love Trailer Dead is probably my favourite all-time band. I really liked that last album they did, but a lot of Deer Hunter, and I was just listening to the Nationals' most recent record this morning. But yeah, Arcade Fire and Animal Collective and that kind of stuff is sort of the stuff that I listen to most, I'd say.
Were you the sort of person that when Trail of Dead kind of moved to Worlds Apart after the Madonna kind of period, were you like a bit miffed that they kind of went down that route?
No, I was totally there. I've been with them the whole time. I feel like Trail of Dead are like almost like the Beatles or something. I know that's a massive call, but they experiment, and they, I think the songwriting is like classic songwriting just dressed up in this cool, crazy, post-punk kind of world. I love it.